The fact that other people ran with this, these other bottom feeder channels, specifically one that I was going to work with until they made this video where they paint me as a person that said, I'm going to sue you, Miss ZZ, which is something I never said and never wanted to say to Miss ZZ.
Many people have said that I could sue you for defamation and win because of the strike I'm dealing with. That is actually looking pretty reasonable right now after reading your tweets about me. Just shut the fuck. Hey, my best friend Spete decided he was going to make a great response to me and Miss ZZ and the videos we made about him. Now, this response was about 40 minutes long, and within it, Spete goes on to character attack me and Miss ZZ like crazy, labeling me a bottom feeder amongst a plethora of other things, severing any bridge we had, and making himself out to have the worst memory ever, or to have just been blatantly lying to his audience in the video in hopes that nobody would go back and double check. So, today I decided I was going to sit down and just give this response that he disabled the comments on, I'm sure for no particular reason. Look, any of you that take this genuinely seriously need to touch grass, but speaking of people that need to touch grass, my subscribers, please become one, please. I'm aiming for 100k, I'm not going to give you the regular spiel, just please subscribe, I think you will enjoy the content. You can also check out my Twitter, I post over there sometimes. You'd be the opposite of Spete, who, as I correctly predicted in my last video, unfollowed me right after I criticized him. Spete is a content creator I've engaged with in the past, and we both mutually follow each other on Twitter, though I suspect that may change by the end of this video. These people genuinely can't take criticism despite that being their entire career. But back on the topic of Twitter, recently I'm getting cancelled a lot. Totally serious drama, you know, like finding Trisha Paytas' pregnancy video on OnlyFans to be a good thing for her to do. If you can't tell, I'm just having fun with videos from now on, so I hope you enjoyed this. That being said, let's just get straight into his video.
Now, I'm not going to say I'm 100% in the right here, and I think a lot of this stuff occurred because the internet is a stupid place full of stupid people. And unfortunately, Miss ZZ falls into that category as well.
I'm glad he doesn't say he was 100% right here, because he would look like a damn idiot. He threatened to sue her over tweets. I wish you wouldn't blame this situation occurring on the internet being a stupid place full of stupid people, though. Your actions are your own. What?
When Miss ZZ made the video exposing QuickSus for stealing and tracing her artwork, she failed to ever mention QuickSus's name throughout the video, and at the beginning of the video mentioned my name, causing some people to be misinformed into thinking that I was the channel that stole her artwork.
Alright then, let's just state the obvious really quickly, just for the people in the audience that aren't caught up. Miss ZZ said that there was a channel that stole their content, but they didn't mention which channel it was. They mentioned Spete as the channel that they'd found this content from, but never blamed Spete. Spete in this clip doesn't blame Miss ZZ, though in the past Spete did blame Miss ZZ for this misunderstanding. Content creators are not responsible for their fanbase. Everybody should know that a content creator can't control what their audience is going to do with information provided. Miss ZZ never claimed Spete was the channel, and it would be unjustified for anyone to go at Miss ZZ and say they were at fault for people misconstruing this from their video or misinterpreting what Miss ZZ was saying.
You can even see from Miss ZZ's description on the video about her artwork being traced, she says this: I'd name drop the person who made the videos, but honestly, he's pretty easy to find anyways. Then she goes on to say this: pardon the strange weird tonal shift at 112. Weenie Hut Jr. complained, so I had to edit out how I went out and discovered the artwork. I genuinely find it sad and funny that Miss ZZ is trying to paint me as being a petty person when she is going around and behaving like this instantly for being asked to maybe edit a section of her video out that was causing people to think that I was the channel that was stealing her artwork.
You are a grown man complaining that they labeled you Weenie Hut Jr. and calling them petty for it when you're the same person who told them to edit the intro of their video out, or a section of their intro, because they mentioned your name without even claiming you were the channel, and a small portion of people misunderstood that and went to your channel. Of course they're gonna call you Weenie Hut Jr. because not only is it petty to tell someone to edit the intro of their video out, because they briefly mentioned you in a way that shouldn't even send anyone to your channel, but I don't even know why you care about them calling you Weenie Hut Jr. because the last time they mentioned you by name, you got mad and told them to cut a section of their video out because people in their comments did something that you didn't like. You quite literally got everything you wanted here. They cut you out of the video and they left a comment correcting it for anyone that misunderstood. And you're mad that they gave you this stupid nickname in their comments. Who cares? Also, can we not act like you're a hero that did nothing before this point that would have made them get a little annoyed at you? Because you did. I think I expanded on that pretty well in my first video.
Throughout Miss ZZ's response video to me about her experience, she demonstrates that she thinks this copyright strike that I had is not a big deal and is not severe in any way, shape, or form. But there are a lot of repercussions for having a copyright strike on your channel. It is a mark on your channel that causes YouTube to take you out of the algorithm. They stop putting you in recommended or suggested, which during the 2 months that I had the copyright strike on my channel, the monetization on my channel was cut in half. I suffered not only monetarily because of the copyright strike, but also it was extremely stressful and caused a lot of anxiety for me as well during those 2 whole months or 3 months of dealing with it.
Okay, I want to take this point by point because he makes some bizarre points out of left field here that make absolutely no sense to me and shouldn't make sense to anyone else. Firstly, he claims that Miss Zizi downplayed the severity of the strike and made it seem like they thought that it was a nothing burger problem. Miss Zizi didn't do that. In their video, they just said that they don't care about the strike because it doesn't involve them and that they didn't want to be mentioned in his video about it. It is bizarre to me that Spete somehow came up with this idea in his head that Miss Zizi thought the strike wasn't severe. Now, I know the average person doesn't understand the YouTube copyright system, and as such, when you hear that a YouTuber could be sued over a video they've made, you think this could be a much bigger issue than it actually is. 99% of the time when you receive a strike, you can't upload for a week or so, and that's it. And then if you try to refute the strike, you can appeal it, and the other party can choose to take you to court or let your video go back up and your punishment is removed. 99% of the time, companies do not want to deal with the process of facing a legal situation, but if your video is fair use and you appeal it, 99% of the time the rights owner will look at it and they'll go, I can't really sue you, and your video will go back up. That's how it's worked in pretty much every scenario ever since the H3H3 lawsuit that showed very clearly that transformative content has a place on YouTube and that your video is likely fair use if you do comment to a fair degree in it. So while if Miss Zizi actually did say that the strike wasn't a big deal, they would technically be incorrect because it is a hindrance on your channel and can have an effect if you get a lot of them. Most of the time it's not that big of a problem. But then Spete continues to make his second point, which is just a blatant lie. Spete claims that his channel was affected by being thrown out of the algorithm because of this strike. I don't know where Spete got this information because as far as any source I've ever checked, this isn't the case. YouTube does not affect your views when you receive a strike. Your channel remains in the algorithm, and I, as someone who's received strikes in the past, have never noticed any actual noticeable impact on my views after receiving a strike. I don't know where Spete got this information, but it just doesn't make any sense from what I've seen. From everything that's been documented and from my own personal experience, it just doesn't seem to be the case.
Now, to let you know, I already had 1 strike before contacting Miss Zizi. That video was causing people to still be misinformed into thinking that I was the art thief. If 2 more channels decided to issue me copyright strikes at that time, my channel was going to be terminated. That's why this was very severe, and I was honestly very afraid of what could happen in the future if people continued to be confused about this situation.
Now, I do want to be fair and as charitable to Spete here as possible. Spete claims that they were dealing with a party that was saying they were going to take legal action against them, and they were terrified because Miss Zizi was making a video and people were misunderstanding and thinking Spete stole their art, and Spete was worried that they might receive more strikes and lose their channel. I can understand that, okay? I can understand that Spete would be in a stressful situation, and I'm not saying that Spete's a bad person, but I do want to make it clear, if Spete genuinely was afraid and wanted themselves removed from the video because of that reason, they should have just messaged Miss Zizi and been polite about it instead of making out to be like Miss Zizi was a bad person, making videos about them and going absolutely off the rails against them. They could have DM'd Miss Zizi very kindly and said, hi, I saw your video, I don't want this to come across the wrong way, I'm dealing with a copyright strike already that I'm worried might go to court. I'm afraid because some people are misunderstanding, not of your own fault, but some people are misunderstanding and thinking that I was the person who stole your art. I would just appreciate if you could cut me out of that video purely because I'm worried about losing my channel. I think that would be totally acceptable. I don't think it was fair to go off on Miss Zizi expecting them to know all this by default, making videos against them, and then making this video now trying to paint them in as bad of a light as possible. It looks really bad from the outside looking in. Not to even mention that once Miss Zizi actually did cut Spete out of the video, Spete still went after them anyway.
Angel Comics reaches out to Miss Zizi on a random tweet, and Angel Comics says this: hello to everyone. The @Spete also stole my art shamelessly. I open thread. She wouldn't use the word also unless Angel Comics thought that I had stolen Miss Zizi's art shamelessly as well, which indicates to me that Angel Comics either saw Miss Zizi's video or got information from Miss Zizi's video from a third party, which convinced her that I had stolen Miss Zizi's art shamelessly.
Genuinely, how does this change anything? Miss Zizi is not responsible for their actions of their audience, and also, they never said you were the channel who stole it. It is not their fault if someone misunderstands, and it makes no sense that you'd go after Miss Zizi for this when you yourself acknowledged that Miss Zizi never said you were the channel.
I did not mention Quick Sus because I didn't want to throw a hate mob towards somebody, but I also did not want to give him attention. I mentioned you, Spete, because your video is where I got my information from. It is really that simple. Also, I am aware that in my video, my wording for certain sections of the video is not the best. I take full responsibility for that.
So at about 7 minutes into this video, she finally admits that she had worded things poorly and takes responsibility for that. I find it funny that she doesn't say that at all at the beginning of the video. So for anybody that just watches a bit of this and dips out, thinks Spete is a hypocrite and petty, they're gonna look at the video and be like, man, Miss Zizi did nothing wrong. Spete did all of this. Like, no, Miss Zizi has a responsibility here, and she finally admits to some of it.
This is a fair point from Spete, and I'm not going to refute it in any way because Miss Zizi does take accountability in their video for any miswording that they may have made, though I would like to make it clear that I never defended Miss Zizi on this point, so when Spete goes on later acting like I'm a really bad person for even making a video on this, I'd like to make it clear I criticized Miss Zizi within my video, and they even DM'd me after my video came out, saying, you were pretty fair, I want to say that, I'm aware I did things wrong, so thanks for that. I tried to make it very clear in my video that there are two sides to every story, and that Miss Zizi also made mistakes here, because I'm an impartial party that gave my perspective on two people that I know as content creators, but I'm not friends with.
Miss Zizi had gone on Twitter to talk trash and to spread a deliberate lie about me where she says that I had threatened her with legal action. That lie that she spread to people got picked up by a news source known as Ecuadorian Blog, which I'll go into more detail later. That news source spread that to thousands of more people. So my DMs to her were a reaction to her lying about me. Now, this is what I said in those DMs. Many people have said I could sue you for defamation and win because of the strike I am dealing with. This is actually looking pretty reasonable right now after reading your tweets about me. A privacy claim isn't legal action, but I'm sure you could care less about the finer details about things. You should watch what you say. If a copyright claim goes to court, I will be looking into what I can do about the damages you and your video have caused. So not only the video, but what she has also said on Twitter. Now, to clear things up about the mention of court, this isn't me saying I will take Miss Zizi to court. The copyright claim is already going into a legal route. If you remember what I have said from earlier in the video, when you counter a copyright strike on YouTube, it goes towards the legal system. So this is already on its way to going to court if it actually goes through. That is what I am talking about here in this DM.
So, Spete says his reason for threatening to sue Miss Zizi was because they made a tweet lying about him. That tweet was where they said that he threatened them with legal action when they meant to say he threatened them with a privacy complaint, which I believe Miss Zizi misunderstood as legal action. I don't think Miss Zizi intentionally lied here. I'm pretty sure this was just a mistake. But in response to Miss Zizi's tweet about this, Spete actually does threaten legal action against them, saying many people have said I could sue you for defamation and win because of the strike I'm dealing with, which is undoubtedly a threat of legal action towards them, which seems a bit insane considering that their tweet wasn't really intentionally a lie. And he continues to say, you should watch what you say. If this copyright claim goes to court, I'll be looking into what I can do about the damages you and your video have caused. Spete threatens to sue Miss Zizi for defamation over some poor wording in a video and a tweet which they made a slight mistake in wording in. Are you kidding me? Spete, do you know what defamation is? There are two forms of defamation, slander and libel, with slander referring to false statements made by one party against another communicated verbally with the intent to defame the subject. They also clarify further down that slander can be hard to prove as the complainant must show that the slanderer was driven by malice and knew their claims were false. Miss Zizi misspoke in their video and Miss Zizi misworded themselves in a tweet. You cannot prove there was malice there, and you also cannot prove they knew their claims were false, which means you would have no grounds to sue them for slander or libel. So you threatened to sue them unjustly, seemingly to silence them as you say, you should watch what you're saying, which is exactly what I criticized you for, had the right to criticize you for, and it makes no sense that you decided to unfollow me and to make a response where you went off on me with character attacks because I criticized you. It just makes it look like you can't handle criticism, despite your entire career as a commentary channel being built on the foundations of giving criticism. If you can't take it, you shouldn't be giving it. But speaking about what Spete had to say about me, I think we should give what he had to say about me a little bit of a look before I go over some of the tweets he made about me following this video and his live stream.
Now, a lot of people want to twist this into I'm saying, I will sue you, Miss Zizi, when this is something I never said. I never claimed that I had the right to sue Miss Zizi. I never claimed that I had solid evidence enough to actually sue her. I just told her, hey, you're already spreading that I threatened you with legal action. Let me tell you that you could be in trouble legally from the information that I've gotten from people.
Dude, shut the fuck up. Just own it. You literally said to them, many people have said I could sue you for defamation and win because of the strike I'm dealing with. That is actually looking pretty reasonable right now. You stated that it is looking pretty reasonable right now. That is a threat. That is an outward threat that you said you were considering suing them. This is not a situation where you can reply to my video saying, I never said I had the right to sue them, I never said I was going to. That is an out and out threat you made to them, and I am 100% within my right to criticize you for that. You literally said if the copyright claim went to court, you would be looking into what you can do about the damages you and your video have caused. So I don't want to debate semantics with you about whether or not you said it in those strict words that you were gonna sue them. We are all, if we have an IQ above 10, capable of understanding that in this message, you were threatening to sue them, to scare them, or to silence them. That is out and out what you intended to do here. So just own it. Not taking accountability for this just makes it look like your entire video responding to Miss Zizi is made in bad faith.
The fact that other people ran with this, these other bottom feeder channels, specifically one that I was going to work with until they made this video where they paint me as a person that said, I'm going to sue you, Miss Zizi, which is something I never said and never wanted to say to Miss Zizi.
And as we've now circled round to what started this video, the claim Spete made against me, the final claim he makes against me in this video, I think it's time we go over some of his incredible tweets. Spete says, wasn't really going to address the HarleyTBS bullshit because I genuinely don't give a fuck about what some living at home Gen Z thinks, but the dude has had issues with me ever since I called him a clout chaser. He has had an emotional breakdown in DMs for being called a bottom feeder. Dude is genuinely one of the most sensitive commentary channels out there, and has fucked up more times than I can count. Also, if what I did with ZZ was such a bad look, why would you want to work with me again? Talk about two-faced. Okay, I'd just like to remind you that this entire response where he goes crazy on me is because I criticized him in a video, DM'd him the day before I made the video, and even said I would still be willing to work with him again in the future. And I'm the sensitive one. But let's go through point by point in what he says. First, he starts with a character attack saying he doesn't give a fuck about what some living at home Gen Z thinks. And then he also says I've had issues with him ever since he called me a clout chaser, which just simply isn't true. Me and Spete resolved that issue a long while ago where he left a comment on Prisonmate Luke's video about me, basically backstabbing me, saying I was a clout chaser who'd used him for views, which simply isn't what happened, and we basically cleared that up. He then says that I had an emotional meltdown in his DMs for being called a bottom feeder. His source for that is these 4 DMs where I say bottom feeder. Have you seen your channel and how you tried to dogpile me the second Luke did for your 5 seconds of fame? I gave you the courtesy of even DMing you and am still willing to hear out your side. But this is fucking hilarious, dude. I think this was a pretty fair enough response. I wouldn't call this an emotional meltdown. I basically just acted surprised that this dude went straight for the character attack because I criticized him, brought up the fact that I feel like he has no right to ever call anyone a bottom feeder when that's the entirety of his content, and that I felt he was in no place to refer to anyone as a bottom feeder when he literally acted like a bottom feeder for Prisonmate Luke when the dude went after me. Now, I don't care about our situation with Luke, right? I'm not gonna hold that against him to this day, and Spete knows that. because we already got past it in DMs, and I was willing to work on a video about Hypnotist Sappho with him after he asked me. So he knows that I don't care about that and I'm chill with him over that. It's completely a resolved situation, and now he acts like that was the issue that I've had with him, and that's why I went after him now, and tries to paint me in this way that makes my criticism seem like I was just mad about the Clout Chaser comment, so I used this as a situation where I could go after him. It's just disingenuous and untrue. He also says, also, if what I did with Miss ZZ was such a bad look, why would you want to work with me again? Talk about two-faced. I don't think this dude has ever touched grass. Me having an issue with some stupid mistake you made and giving you criticism over it doesn't mean I hate your guts, never want to work with you, and think that you should be outcasted from the internet, deplatformed, and killed on the spot. It just means I would prefer if you learned from your mistakes and didn't do shit like this again and took my criticism and accepted it. That's literally all it means. I don't care about this situation past that, and I'm completely willing to work with you past that. I'm willing to work with many people I've had drama with in the past because we've got over that and they've accepted my criticism, because I'm a human who doesn't think the be-all and end-all of your entire internet career is based on one singular mistake you've made, because I'm an adult who understands that people make mistakes. Genuinely, dude, what is wrong with you? Now, I quote retweeted Spete and got 150 more likes than him, so I think it's obvious who people agree with, saying, when I talk about backstabbers and fake creators who only care about clout, I mean people like Spete, who can't take slight criticism, just like Luke couldn't, and fly off the handle with character attacks. Pathetic. I think this was a fair response, and I think most people agreed when they saw Spete's tweet that dude was just going crazy for some reason at me. I also followed up this tweet saying he acts like I tried to attack him over lies, and that I only made a video on him because I was mad he called me a clout chaser a year ago. What a misdirect. I even DM'd you saying I have no issues with you, but your past actions can still be mentioned in criticism. Spete then quote retweets me saying, you're never gonna address the bullshit you spread in your video. Drop the Luke shit. Kinda sad and pathetic hanging on to something that happened a year ago. You and Jar bring it up every single chance you get, and it's laughable. And you're right, I do bring up the Luke shit a lot. Mainly because Luke is the epitome of everything you could do wrong as a content creator. He went after people for things they didn't do at all. He wouldn't take criticism at all, and inevitably it's what destroyed his entire channel. My point was, the reason that so many people are turning on you and that you're losing all of the support you used to have is because you act in the exact same way as Luke does. I then replied to him saying, video tomorrow, dude, in direct response to him saying you're never going to address the bullshit you spread in your video, and I basically then just go off the handle, because at this point I didn't care anymore about being nice and sugarcoating everything towards this dude when he was continuing to just character attack me and try and mock me at every opportunity he had. I said, you have a dying channel, rely on clickbaiting porn for views in every video, have absolutely no integrity or spine, and you're a coward who's complaining about minor things like, I didn't technically say I'll sue, to get your comeback points. And I think this response was totally justified. The dude keeps going at me like he has any right to character attack me because I criticized him. And there's so many things wrong with this content that I could criticize him for as well, but it didn't, because I didn't want to bash this dude or insult him. I just wanted to give him criticism in the ZZ situation because he was directly affecting someone and going after them and threatening to sue them for what I felt was unjustifiable reasons. But because he kept pushing me, I just decided to just throw it all at him. He replies, oh no, a video, and minor things, whatever helps you sleep at night. Hope your video gets over 10k views so you don't have to constantly beg your audience to watch it over and over again. To which I reply, Spete logic, if I threaten to sue this YouTuber, then I'm the good guy who should be awarded, and there is absolutely no valid criticism towards me, and anyone who criticizes me is doing it in bad faith. You haven't had a video do better than mine in 6 months. Cry more. I think you could tell that I just gave up being nice to this dude. A lot of the time on YouTube, everyone has to be nice to each other because we're all content creators. We have to be friends at the end of the day, because otherwise the audience gets worried and starts telling everyone to stop the argument. But honestly, dude, I just didn't have the time to waste being nice to this dude anymore. He's pathetic and he continued going at me and insulting me, he got exactly what he deserved. He threatened to sue ZZ, acted like he was the good guy, and acted like there was no valid criticism towards him, and acted like I was doing it in bad faith. And he mentioned that he hopes that my video gets over 10k views so I don't have to constantly beg my audience to watch it over and over again. But it's crazy because this dude has double the subscriber count as me. Dude had almost 160k subs that he's now disabled so people can't see how many subs he has. Yeah, his videos don't do better views than mine somehow, which makes no sense, which is exactly why I said he had a dying channel. I find it funny though that he said whatever helps you sleep at night. Like, I'm stuck staying in bed like shaking and crying because Spete made a tweet that got 3 likes about me. Grow up, man. Obviously I wouldn't have insulted Spete like this if Spete had handled this appropriately and seriously. I gave him genuine criticism, and in response all he did was continuously go at my character, and I gave up trying to criticize him, so I just went and insulted him back. I went down to his level, which honestly I could have taken the high road and acted like a moral grand standard that would never sink to the level of insults. But where's the fun in that, man? At the end of the day, this is all entertainment for the audience, so who cares? Dude got what was fucking coming to him, and I hope it taught him a fucking lesson. I then, in reply to another YouTuber, said that he clickbaits porn of a kid's game for every upload, referring to Friday Night Funkin', in which I didn't mean that Friday Night Funkin' is a kid's game because I know every comment gets mad at me whenever I say this. I meant Friday Night Funkin' has a big audience of kids. I know that it's technically an adult game, it's a 13+ game, which, you know, 13's still a child, so I would still be right, but I know a lot of people say that it's an adult game, but what I mean when I say Friday Night Funkin' is a kid's game is everyone is painfully aware that the main audience of Friday Night Funkin' is children. Whether it's an adult game or not, the main audience is for children, and everybody knows that. So, it's basically a kid's game. He says, Lamau, he called Friday Night Funkin' a kid's game, a Newgrounds game made by adults that is about a guy trying to get with a girl is for kids. Damn bro, your video's gonna be fucked. Someone else replied, I'm starting to wonder if that guy forgot that this is an almost 13+ game due to, well, a rec difficulty. I replied to him, fun fact, the age of consent is 18. 13 is still a child. Also, bonus point, even if Friday Night Funkin' isn't a kid's game, Roblox and Minecraft are, linking some of Spete's other thumbnails that are lewd Roblox and Minecraft thumbnails. Spete then calls me narcissistic and egotistical, saying that I really care about views. I replied, it's not my fault, your entire channel was built off clickbaiting porn from a kid's game, and you've only recently come to the realization that nobody watches your content for you. Call me narcissistic till your ego shatters, not like I care, because unlike you, I can actually take the criticism. Someone else replies, can you two make up? Stop sucking each other's dick to make more content. And Spete says, Lamau, dude is emotionally damaged. Just look how much he still mentions prison mate Luke. I don't think it's gonna happen. And I replied to him, you caused all of this, you fucking lunatic. I DM'd you before my video, warning you that I would criticize you, and told you I had no issues with you as a person. You responded in a video calling me a bottom feeder and insulting my character. You caused this and now you're crying about it. And he then replies, look who's the one crying, bro. Like, whatever, man. Spete then re-replies to one of my tweets a few hours later after I'm presuming he cooled down, saying, people are allowed to not like my thumbnails. I've heard that one for a long time, but if you look at most of the thumbs Harley showed, this was before Friday Night Funkin' was overrun with kids, and over time I took in people's criticism and changed how I presented my videos on certain topics. I will say I genuinely do not care if you don't like my thumbnails, but this feels like Harley is trying to push some narrative, especially with this example of Roblox, Minecraft, etc. All of my thumbnails he showed revolve around the context in my video. He can fly off the handle and rage all he wants. None of these criticisms or accusations are new to me. There are plenty of YouTubers who use Rule 34 thumbnails, some of which Harley has praised as good YouTubers like Nuxtaku. This is the stupidest shit lol. Pretty boring to be honest. I replied, I'm glad you took that criticism then. Fair enough. I wish you responded like this initially. And to expand on that, I wish Spete didn't go off the handle when I said clickbaiting porn of a kid's game, and instead said, yeah, I've learned, accepted that criticism, and changed. I don't make thumbnails like this anymore, and I understand where people held criticism instead of trying to die on that hill and saying Friday Night Funkin' is not a kid's game. He also brings up the fact that I've praised people like Nuxtaku who have Rule 34 thumbnails, but there's a massive difference between what Spete does and what Nux does, mainly because Nux's thumbnails aren't from kids games. I don't have a problem with the existence of Rule 34 in YouTube thumbnails. I'd like to make that very obvious. In fact, I have like 1 or 2 thumbnails on my channel which you could kinda consider to fall into the realm of that. My issue lies in making making Rule 34 thumbnails of characters from kids games. Now, I'm not necessarily saying you can't make lewd thumbnails like that to clickbait people in. I'm just saying I think it's really cringe, indicative of who you are as a person, and is 100% something people can laugh at if you do it. Spete responded saying, "Dude, I genuinely didn't think what I said would have upset you. I was hurt at the time that you'd presented your thumbnail that way you did, and that you had ghosted me on the Sappho video idea. I know now bottom feeder was pretty harsh, but I do feel like points in your video were biased towards supporting Miss ZZ more. Saying I blatantly lied when I said she spread misinformation was weird to me. I'm not 100% perfect, and I tried to deliver information on a really stressful issue the best I could at the time. Since then, I've learned not to make videos on things when I'm upset with them. I have taken in some criticism, but I'm allowed to express my grievances as well. I'm not under the impression that we get along, nor do I care if we ever do again. I'm not trying to be a part of any community. I just want to do my own thing, and if people like what I do or not, that is their right to decide. Good luck with your videos." I replied saying, "I'm working on another video critical of you, but I wouldn't agree with the stance that I was biased towards Miss ZZ. I gave them a lot of criticism in my video, and they acknowledged that criticism in my DM. I did try to hear you out when I DM'd you, but got no response." He said, "I hear ya, I was on vacation and couldn't just drop what I was doing to head to my office to respond. Might sound weird, but I don't have Bird up on my phone for mental health reasons." I replied, "I never tried to sever any connection between us. I even mentioned in my DMs to you prior to my video that I'd still be happy to work with you." He said, "I don't remember the timeline clearly, but it felt like you sent that DM, then dropped the video the next day. Even if I contacted you, that wouldn't have given any time to say anything about how I felt or some of the things Miss ZZ did that led to my react. Again, I'm not perfect, and the copyright strike was absolutely one of the most stressful things I've ever had to deal with. I don't think my actions were great, and I've stated that. I think we can agree to disagree and move on. I reacted to your video and may post it. To be honest though, this subject is boring AF to me, and with how much shit I get from the Friday Night Funkin' community, I'd prefer not to pile any more shit onto my grave of an internet career." I replied, "I worked on that video a day before I dropped it. If you messaged me at any time before the video dropped, I would have altered the video to represent your perspective. That's how I do most of my videos. I feel you're on the strike. I feel you got too worried about it though. I can agree to disagree. I don't know if posting your stream would be a good idea, because from the clips I've seen, it looks on a surface level to have been made in bad faith, looking over Jar's past drama, insulting me, etc." He says, "I can agree with that, but at the time the Friday Night Funkin' community was after me, and since her video was Friday Night Funkin' related, I was worried some random Friday Night Funkin' channels would do more false strikes to get me taken down." And he replies to my other message saying, "In bad faith means in a dishonest and improper way. Not sure my reaction was that, I'd have to check it. I don't think there is any reason to battle over this, but looking into Jar being racist and looking into my past drama is both fair game." And that is basically where this situation ended. Honestly, I think it would be a bad idea for Spete to make that video just to stream highlights going over everything he said. Seems like a way to just continue prolonging this drama when there's no reason to. I criticized him, said my piece, and had no reason to make this video if he didn't decide to go on and attack me afterwards. I don't hate Spete, and as I said, if he takes my criticism, I'd be willing to work with him in the future. There's no reason to burn a bridge over criticism. I just wish he would take that criticism. It's obvious to everyone that you did threaten to sue Miss ZZ. If you own up to that and accept it, people will leave you alone. Honestly, all people on the internet want is to hold people accountable, and if you hold yourself accountable, you'll be fine. I wish you didn't continue to character attack me. It felt ridiculously unfair and unnecessary, and is exactly what caused me to respond in the way I did to you. And I genuinely hope you've learned and changed so you don't continue to make this mistake in the future of continuing to attack people over what is literally criticism for literally no reason. You are a drama content creator whose career is built on criticizing other people. I hope you know that that means people can criticize you just the same as people can criticize me and everyone else who does exactly what we do. If we give it out, we must be willing to take it. And with that being said, I hope I've expanded upon my opinion. I hope Spete understands why I made these videos and is willing to accept the criticism I've given him and not continue to prolong this drama, because honestly, I'm not going to entertain it any further. I've said my piece. I see no reason to waste my time arguing over this any further. I just think the dude needs to get better at taking criticism and shouldn't threaten to sue people in the future. Thank you for watching. I'm sorry if I sound mumbly or stuttery or anything during this. I'm currently on painkillers and also have a bunch of like stuff in my mouth, to say the least. That sounds mad. I'm dealing with some pain physically, which is making it hard to record videos, which is why I went on such a long break, and also is why I might sound a little muffled and mumbly during this video. I hope that makes sense. Sorry about that. I am in unimaginable pain. Feel free to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to support me with more content in the future. Aiming for that 100k, it would be highly appreciated if you could get me there. Feel free to check out my Twitter. I would appreciate if you could engage with those tweets, follow me over there. That would be fun. I hope Spete understands that I'm not actually mad with him. I'm just giving him criticism and hope that he takes that criticism. I've been recording for hours now. It's about 6 a.m. I'm so tired. I'm mumbling. I don't know what's going on anymore. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Peace.
Says she wanna rock with it like me. I'm a stylish guy. Spend a little guap with it like me. We can catch a fly. Says she wanna rock with it like me.